Hey everybody! Today's video is super fun because I'm going to be showing you how to watercolor with an office supply, a common item that you already have. And I'm just going to show you the difference between that and other watercolor mediums. So this is my favorite gel pen. And of course I had to have them in all of the colors that it came in. And what I'm doing is taking a line just right next to the beard of this cute gnome, just drawing a line with the gel pen, and then adding water with a water brush. And it's a beautiful, blendable watercolor medium that I just love. And the colors are super vibrant because these are supposed to be really bright, fun pens. And the reason that I found out that this is a great watercolor medium is I ruined the envelope for a card that I was sending to a friend after I already had the stamp on it, and I had written her name in these cute gel pen colors. And then I sat a can of Waterloo, which is sitting right next to me right now, you can see it, down on the envelope, and the ink ran everywhere. So after that happened, I stopped writing on my envelopes with my beloved gel pens. I just use them for my to-do lists and in my planner now. But I thought, hey, why don't I do a tutorial with these? Because everybody I know has gel pens sitting around. So that other gnome is with Corrine markers. And you can sort of see the similarities and the differences. What I love about these is how bright and vibrant the colors are. So I have a big multi-pack. I can't remember how many colors come in here, but it was plenty for this gnome, just grabbing the handful that I have. And the black version works as well, which you'll see me use as shading. But I thought these were some kind of cool, frosty colors for this gnome. The lime green is one of my favorites. I actually kind of don't even use this pen very much because I like it. And I don't want it to run out, even though I know I probably have 20 of them somewhere. The dark purple, I'm really just using for shading. I can shade both the blue and the pink with that purple really beautifully. And I'm also using two different colors of green. So there's that bright lime green, but then there's also like a Kelly green that I can use for a shadow. And you will see that in a minute. And then I was writing myself a note to get some more Vetericin. If you have not had this, it's great if you have pets that like to maybe get in a little tussle and maybe they scratch each other on the head. It prevents them from getting infections and you having to go to the vet and spend $1,000 on your free cat. So highly recommend. That's how you spell it. Now the black I'll use just to shade his mustache, which I was imagining was kind of gray, like he was an older gnome. This set is so cute with the little bunny ears, and it has several little gnomes in the set and some really cute sentiments. So this is very fun to color with these. But you're going to see when I hold this up close here in a minute how smoothly the gel blends out. It's really a perfect water soluble medium. Very fun. Now there's that darker green that I used, and I'll show you this close up so that you can see the blend and how it fades out to almost nothing. Really fun, very intense. So I'll go back to speeding it up. You can see how pretty the two colors of green are together. The darker green is a little bit more blue and the lighter green is a little bit more yellow. So that makes for a fun contrast when I add the shadows. Now I will also shade his little bunny ears. It's just so funny, the things we accept in stamps, like that there's a bunny-eared gnome in a pink dress of some kind. I love it. Who needs reality, especially right now? I will also put a little bit of shading on his beard. I love that you can't see their faces in these stamp images. It almost makes it look like their clothes are too big for him, and I think that's so cute. Now, of course, the inside of his bunny ears have to be pink, so I'll just use the same color. And it's really neat to be able to just draw next to the line from the stamped image and then pull that pigment out with the water into that nice even fade. So you don't even really notice the ink going on when I'm adding it, because I'm putting it basically on top of the stamped line and then pulling it out. But I bet you that you have a drawer full of these pens that you can try this technique with today. I will link you to my favorite gel pens. They don't skip, they don't drip, they have a nice skinny point on them. I always have these on my desk in addition to a really fun multicolored pen that came with my Hobonichi planner last year. As you all know, buying a planner for 2020 was the dumbest thing any of us have ever done. But it came with a great pen, and I use that pen a lot. But other than that, these are my go-tos, and I just love seeing colored ink. Sometimes I even do it just to be a rebel on checks. I put my signature on checks, because when I was little, people were really uptight about only signing checks in black and blue. And I've always sort of rebelled against that. I don't like it. So I like to sign my checks in color. So see this little glow of sky that I can get around the outside of the gnome? This is one of my favorite techniques. If you watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I do this a lot with a lot of water-based mediums. The first time I saw this done, I actually saw it done with Copic markers, but I was not as good at blending with those back then, and I find it a little bit easier with a water-based medium just because I don't have the skill level to do it with a marker. But I love when I saw those cards that the blue would fade out to the white of the paper. So that's what I'm doing here. And again, just outlining the stamp image and then pulling. Oh, we got a Maddie sighting. Maddie, she's like Bigfoot. You just see a little bit. You don't even know what you've seen. She needs to be patted a lot when I'm making videos. Okay, Maddie, time to go. So I just draw one little section at a time. I always do this when I'm doing this technique, usually with watercolor. That is a habit that I developed because you want the paper still to be wet so that the watercolor goes out by itself into the wet page. But here I'm actually doing wet on dry paper. So I'm just doing one little section at a time and just pulling the ink out. But you can see that it blends so easily. I probably don't even need to do that. I could probably go around the whole image and then activate it all with water. But it's hard to break a habit once you've formed it. So I'm in the habit of doing that. But I feel like putting that little bit of sky around an image like this keeps it from floating in the middle of the card. It really looks like there's a sky around him, and it sort of just gives you a little reference for your completely unrealistic bunny gnome. It's complicated. I don't have to explain that. So once he's all outlined, I will show you the two of these cards side by side and then show you a close-up of them just so you can see that you're not going to be able to tell what anybody's watercolored with, whether it's the beautiful Korean markers, whether it's watercolor, whether it's ink tints, or your common office supply. A beautiful, brightly colored gel pen. It's just a really, really intense, pretty look. So now I have two cards to show for it. Here's the finished card with a little sentiment from Picket Fence Studios, and then here is the one with Korean markers. Head over to my blog for more information, and thanks so much for watching.